Hi, I'm Brittney King,
And I'm Lisset King, and welcome to Honest Feedback.
a podcast where we are here offering alternative perspectives, new ways of looking at things, maybe even asking you some questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do want to say Ms. Brittney is really good at that because she's just a very compassionate, kind, incredibly warm person who I have never felt judged by. So I always feel like my truth is honored.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. You are so amazing too. You're an emotional ninja. She is a certified master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, which is a very, very fancy way of saying she will Jedi mind trick you.
With love.
Yes, and help you get outside of your problem. So I feel like the way you know about like you're a wordsmith, the way you use language, the way you can help someone to hear the problem that's in the words, hear the problem inside of the problem is so helpful.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we are here together as little friends.
Yeah.
Little lobsters.
Your little online friends. We hope to be your online best friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today's episode is about feeling pigeon-held. Pigeon-holded?
Pigeon-holded it.
Pigeon in a hole like a pigeon.
Like a pigeon.
Is that where it comes from?
I think
I'm
that's
in
where
a
it comes
pigeonhole.
from. I think, yes. I guess it's like feeling stuck.
I think it's feeling stuck by other people putting limitations on you, and it's like,
Yeah.
I am outside of your boxes.
Yes. Yes. I am outside of your idea of me.
Yes. Have you ever felt held in a hole?
Pigeonholed.
Yes.
I have. I think the first time I was going through my growth journey, I was a bit of a partier. And I really wasn't, I was walking around kind of asleep. And then I was like, whoa, I have control of my life. And I started doing a lot of self-development work and like really diving into understanding myself. And like the people in my life found that really challenging. Like I remember having friendships like grow apart and like my family had trouble seeing that I had grown. You know,
Yes.
like they kept seeing me as the person that I had been showing up as. And that was really challenging to expand out of that. How about you?
Yes, mine was not so serious and also very serious. My family used to have like a big reaction to me and my food choices.
Really?
Yes. As a child growing up, I pretty much only ate like burgers and Caesar salad. Like it was very like plain Jane, like just plain.
What's wrong with burgers and Caesar salad?
They're great, but it was like,
Yeah,
and that's your
okay,
entire diet for
Okay.
like years.
Got it.
I didn't like anything. I didn't like anything. But then I started to like grow up. I went to college. I studied abroad. My palate expanded. So I would come home and I'd be like, oh, I want like the shrimp or the seafood pasta. Or like I liked Thai food. And they were like, you never liked Thai food. Like, what? You're so different. How dare you never ate seafood. Never, ever, ever. Like, who is she?
Why does your family sound like, Southern cartoon characters?
Because that's who they are. No. It was just Yosemite Sam over there.
Brittney's related to Yosemite Sam. That's my uncle-in-law.
It was just really difficult because we'd be like, am I not allowed to try new things? Am I not allowed to like a Brussels sprout? Like I felt super like confined being like, but that's not who I am anymore. And I've expanded. And how come it's like a problem that I've expanded? Like, why are you mad at me that now I eat nachos? They're delicious. And I was wrong before.
Yeah.
Not about the avocado part. I don't like that, but yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll have a whole episode about converting Brittney to avocado.
Maybe I'll get the new taste buds in my 7-year upgrade. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yes.
We will see. Well, thank you for sharing that. Should we get into our callers?
Yes, but first, I would love for everyone to be a part of our community and support us. So what would really help is if you would like and subscribe and write comments. And most importantly, tell a friend about this podcast. Like we want to continue making them and have the community grow. And we've just been getting such great, nourishing feedback. So thank you all for listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. And also tell a friend. When you're watching it on YouTube, write a comment.
Yeah.
Like it. Rate and review it in those Apple stores, Google Play stores, so that other people can find us too.
Yeah. Give us 5 stars if that's your truth.
If that's your
if
truth.
3 stars is your truth, just keep that to yourself.
Well, with that, let us get into caller number 1.
Yeah.
Hi, Brittney. Hi, Lisset. I have recently experienced something life-changing, and inside I feel different. In my relationships, in my work, I'm feeling like people are seeing me and treating me the same as I used to be. I am finding this to be challenging and frustrating at times, and I'm wanting to better integrate this change into my life and into my relationships. I would love to get your advice on this. Thank you.
Well, caller, I am you and you are me.
Yes.
Yeah, this was literally what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, feeling different in your life as you expand and have these massive changes, and then having people hold you in that same old paradigm.
Yeah.
Not allowing the space for you to have grown. And I think this is pretty common, like across the board. Like people just, change is hard. Change, let me correct my words. Change can be hard, and especially can be hard for people in your life. When you're the one changing, you're like, oh my God, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Like my life can be so different. And it's disturbing to people's experience, to their current reality, to have you go through such a big change. So I would, my, first piece of advice to this caller is to, what I was taught was a system called leveling the waters.
What does that mean?
That means when you grow and you have this massive expansion, you have to come home to people that haven't had that experience. And so it's almost like you need to like bring it in and bring it down and calm your waters before you come meet other people. And listen to them and be like, hey, what's going on in your life and all these things, and be interested in where they are, and realizing where they are in their life. It can be very kind to them, and then explaining what you've been through and what you've gone through, more of as an invitation, like, hey, I'm going through these massive changes and it's super wonderful. And I don't know if you desire to invite these people into these changes, but it's more inviting to come down to the level and then invite them up to higher ground.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great little suggestion.
Yeah, I messed that one up a lot.
Did you say that was something you tried right away, or that was a tool you got later?
No,
okay.
That was a tool. The leveling the waters was something I was definitely taught early on, but I definitely did not implement it. Like I would come in hot. I would come in hot from like whatever seminar I was at or whatever, life-changing event, medicine journey, and be like, did you know that the world is, that rainbows and sunshine and unicorns are everywhere? And they're like, I was doing my laundry and I washed my car this week. That's the biggest thing that happened. And so it can cause resistance to come in so hot with like what you're excited about, and meet someone where they are, which just like there hasn't been a big change or something. Might be they're feeling stagnant. That can also make a person feel uncomfortable if you're the one going through change and they're stuck where they are. And so, I would catch a lot of resistance about it. It's definitely something I learned to do later in life and more recently. It was like, I had a really profound experience. Like, how was your week? And then if there's interest in what I'm going through, say, then expressing that. However, also it's okay to ask people to meet you where you are. After you've met them where they are, like to go, hey, I've gone through this change and now I'm different in XYZ. And it would support me in this as I'm growing in this way, that you see me in this, and can reflect to me and help me stay in that pattern. I'm not asking, for, you don't have to change much about your life, but start to see me in this different way.
I love that. I feel like a lot of times we're just running on like patterns and habits, and we're not slowing down enough. We're not slowing down enough to be present with people and say like, hey, how are you showing up today? Like, what's new? We're just like, oh, this is how you usually show up. So like when I was going through changes and
changes, a little Bowie reference. I like that. I see what you did there.
I didn't know he sang that. All good. But I was going through changes, and I used to be someone who was 100% late to everything. Like I was late to all things all the time. So like if I met people, I'd be like, okay, we're going to lunch at 12:30, and they'd be like, all right, it's Brittney, so like 1:15. And then there was a shift. I was like, okay, I got into alignment. I got to the deeper causes of why that was showing up that way. And I started showing up places on time. And then people were like, oh, like they would show up the half hour late. And I was like, what didn't work for me was being like frustrated, being like, oh, I told you 12:30. And they were like, bitch, please. Like, I've known you forever and you don't show up on time. So like, don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
Like that was not the energy to come out with it with. So I empathize with you, caller, with like feeling frustrated. And I'll offer you like, let's have some compassion around someone else is showing up based on the ways that you used to show up. And I feel like what is a great invitation and opportunity for all of us is like, how do we slow down enough to be present and like take in new information of like what someone is showing up as, what's the experiences. Like, it's like seeing an old friend for like lunch. It's like, hey, am I going to expect the girl from high school, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 20 years ago, a long time ago? Am I going to expect the person from high school Am I going to expect the person from high school to show up? Or am I going to set myself up of like, hey, this is a person, I don't know that much about their life or who they are anymore. So like, I'm going to be curious and try to get to know who's in front of me today. So I guess I would offer you of like, hold that energy and also invite other people to be in that energy of like, hey, I would love to like show up today. And some of those things might even be like doing new things together, It's, it can be challenging. Like when I, quote unquote, came out, when I realized that I liked ladies, some friends were like, that totally makes sense, 100%. And then other people had a very hard time with it. And they're like, but no, like, you like balls, which I did. So
you did really like balls.
I really liked balls.
Yeah.
So they were like, I just don't believe you because you've been fucking. And like, can't put sexuality into a box, but it was challenging for me and frustrating because I was just like, I wish for others to see me in this expansion. And what was for me the most grounding experience was like, I'm going to continue to live in my new truth.
Yeah.
And I will see who is able to accommodate and like respond to those changes, like with grace, with love, with compassion. Those who are like, hey, I can feel you're doing some different things. How exciting for you. Interested, love to share. Happy to see the new you.
Yeah.
Happy to see more of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. That brings up a point of, these are more things I'd rather implement. However, I'm in the process of it.
Okay. Great. We're working in progress.
We're working in progress. Is growing humbly.
Ooh.
And being a different person in your actions. So less about like, I learned this and now I'm this way and all this stuff. Like the talk can be cheap. And it is. Showing up in your strength, in your power, knowing who you are. And even if you're frustrated by what they're saying, it's probably because it's triggering this vulnerability and this place you're afraid of being seen, or the small way you're afraid of being pigeonholed. And so rather than having a frustration and a reaction to it, which is all valid, is just standing in your truth and going, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that they're seeing me that way, and I will continue to act and be the difference that I've created in my life.
Yes. Wonderful. Caller, we wish you all the best. I'm so excited that you've experienced a life-changing event, and I'm excited for you to have a smooth and beautiful integration as you continue to blossom and be a tree in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you said. I think I just want to add.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to add that we are really just works in progress, Brittney and I. We're always sharing from the truth of our reality, and no answer that we give is the do we think in any way is the answer. It's just what we're working with in real time. So yeah, thanks for giving us your heart, caller, and allowing us to take a shot at it.
All right, let's dive into caller number 2.
Caller number 2.
Hi, this is Emmy, she, her. So the issue that I have been running into with my biological family is, I come from a family that is fairly close, and yet I have decided on a very different way of life than the one that I was raised in. I was raised very religiously, and I have chosen out of that religion and really been uninvolved in that capacity for the past, I'd say, 13 years. My parents really are very, very loving people. I'm still, in relationship with them, very, very close with my mom. However, something that I've found is over time, I still shy away from involving my parents in my life. And I kind of doubt that they'll want to be involved in my life. So, for instance, I am dating somebody new, and that's very exciting to me. However, I fear my parents' disapproval, and I want them to be involved in my life. I want them to know my partner. I want them to know the things that are happening and celebrate those things with me. And I just always sense this space of disapproval because it doesn't look the way that they want it to, or the people that they would like for me to be associating with, or just frankly like the choices that I make in my life. So I would say it doesn't cause like a huge sense of external conflict. However, I feel sad. I feel a sense of maybe what I would just like to have with my family, in the sense of that celebration or support versus, them tolerating what I've done with my life. So please give me some honest feedback. Thank you.
Emmy.
This is, that's a dilly of a pickle.
Dilly.
Do you know anything about having a religious family?
Oh, do I know? Well, you're talking to a PK girl. For those who don't know, that's a pastor's kid.
Oh, yes. Learning new terminology.
It's a whole identity. A rebellious one, I feel. But I have had this experience as well with family, and it can be very painful and sad. And so I definitely feel you on the sadness. I love that you still have like a close relationship with your family. You said particularly with your mother, even though you've decided to live a different life path than perhaps they would have wanted for you. And my experience of my mother was that at the end of the day, she always really just wanted me to be happy and safe and loved. And I felt a lot of judgment or like harshness about choices when she was in fear for me of not being safe or loved in those kind of situations where it's just like, oh, you're mismanaging money. Like, those kinds of things. And so at the end of the day, I feel like your parents most likely just want to love you. And what I heard you say is that you doubt they would want to be involved in your life. And I have a question for you. Have you asked them? Is that based in fact, or is that an assumption? I would maybe open the conversation of saying, hey, birth givers, I'm desiring to be closer to you and to share a bit more of my life with you. I do have some fears around this. Is this something that you guys would like to lean into with me? So that way it's a conversation we can have, like, hey, are we both leaning into this thing that we both wish to create? Or am I making assumptions that they don't want to be a part of it? Or am I leaning into a space where it's like, this would actually be like hostile and not in the best mental and emotional safety for myself? But like, can you have a conversation with your parents about, like, do they wish to have a closer relationship and be more involved in your life? That would be my question one. And then when you said you fear disapproval from them, and I definitely, I hear you on that. And it's one of those things of like, sounds like you are a grown woman. Can you stand in your own approval? Can you stand in your own approval? Like, does it matter if they disapprove?
Yeah.
Like, is it a thing where it's like, this is going to be a heavy weight on my heart? Or is it going to be like, they don't like that I'm a stockbroker. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like that I'm an actor. Okay. You know, like where is it okay for that? And then if it's a disapproval that is like a seeping, flying at you, is there a way for you to set boundaries around those kinds of things of like, hi, I would love to have lunch with you. I do not appreciate your personal commentaries or hot takes on my choices in my life. So if you would like to continue having these kinds of relationships, I need you not to give your 2 cents on like topics A, B, and C. And is that okay? You know? And also like, they might surprise you. They might surprise you. Like when I told my mom I was gay, I mean, it was a whole thing. Like, you know, she was sick. It was like my mom, my sisters. I was just like, okay, everybody, like literally was like in the kitchen table. I was like, I'm dating women now. She's poly. Everybody needs to get on board. And there was like some like, huh? And then like the one coach was like, weren't you dating that girl's girlfriend? And she was like, aren't you guys friends? Like, I don't know if that's okay. And I was like, we've talked about it and everybody's okay with it. And she was like, okay. And then weeks later, she was just like, oh, you don't like your living situation? Why don't you live on like the commune with like the girlfriend and the other girlfriend? I'm like, that's not how it works. It's not a commune. They live in West Adams. Like, you know, it's just a regular house and I cannot just move in with them because I'm dating one of them. So, you know, like, but they might surprise you in their level of like, openness and like people change and people grow and like life experiences really shape how someone sees the world. So we don't even know, like, what if they had a life-changing experience where they might have more openness in the way that they see the world. And I always fall back with, if my parents want me to be happy and healthy and loved, really stress those points. I'm happy. I met this person and I'm happy. I made this choice and I'm happy. And like, if you're not happy, you don't have to be not truthful. But like for the things that you are happy about, like sometimes they're like, she's happy, you know? Leave it. She's happy. What do you think? I feel like I said a lot.
You did say a lot. Thank you. Good night, folks. I wanted to touch on the disapproval piece, like the being shy of involving your family in fear of disapproval. Like I too know this. Like I never got to come out to my dad before he passed away, and there was certainly my mom asked me not to. You know, and there was certainly this fear of disapproval. And then he passed, and I had this like lingering unknowing of, God, would he have loved me if I was just like, would he have loved me the way I am? And I think it's for your own sake, for your own personal, like, live out loud, like, be you, do what makes you happy, and other people's approval doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you're afraid of someone else's disapproval, another point to that is, are you good with your choices? Because if you're good with your choices, then they can all suck it. They can all suck it.
Suck a bag of dicks.
Don't tell your parents to suck a bag of dicks. I don't recommend that. However, energetically, you can tell them to suck it. No, like, if you're feeling good about your choices and the person you're dating and the choices you've made in your life, there's nothing outside of that that can make that foundation flounder. Like, it's important for you to be good with your choices. And it's challenging. If you're not good with your choices, it's could be a house of cards. You're like, I don't want them to meet my boyfriend because I'm not sure about my boyfriend. That's
a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Because you're like, ooh, they're gonna start poking holes.
They blow a little wind and there goes the house down. You know. So that's, we just want to offer all possibilities, because any of these things can be true. Just to circle back, if you're good with your choices, then just stand in them. I wish I had, I wish I had the courage to tell my dad what I told him, so that he could have, no matter what the reaction would have been better than the unknown. And the unknown is this uncertainty of, like, would he have, could he have? Long story, I did talk to a medium.
Yeah.
And I did talk to my dad through this experience. And it was a very profound experience where he just ultimately said, I love you. I love you no matter what.
Aww.
Like, and I knew there was always something between us.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was. And so, well, that was it. And so I'd love for you to have that honesty, transparency with your family while they're here. Like, it's as both of us have lost a parent. Mm-hmm. And if you are close with them, no matter what their religious background or where they've been, give them an opportunity to love you for who you are.
Yes.
Completely.
Yes. And this reminds me of the joy of chosen family. The joy of chosen family. Like, you spoke about, you want your family to be able to, like, celebrate and support you versus tolerate. And I love that for you. I love that for you. And we don't get a say over someone else's reaction to us, like, their reaction is their experience and their thing. And, like, we are just ourselves, So I feel like this, for me, is where chosen family comes in really strong, where it's like, these are the souls that I choose to call family, that I know have chosen to support me and love me no matter what, and have chosen to accept me in all of my expansion and my iterations, and, like, they are there for me in this new way. And that can be a really beautiful thing too. Living in your truth is not always easy. Like, I have family members who still will not talk to me based on my growth and my expansion and me being committed to being the truth of who I am, and they were not okay with that. And that has to be okay, Do I wish it were different? Yes. Might it be different in the future? Maybe. But I was unwilling to waver in my commitment to the love of myself, my true self, for someone else's comfort or for someone else's acceptance or for someone else's okay, So I offer that to you of, like, how can you live in your truth, and how can you build layers of support and those who will celebrate and support you no matter what, whether you were born to them or not. You can have lots of mothers in this world. We can have lots of parents in this world. We can have lots of siblings in this world. We can choose our family if we decide that that's something we want to do. And I feel like that was one of the gifts that I did not know about the queer community, was how sacred and how visceral it was to be able to know that you have a choice to choose your family, and that is just as valid as any family that you were born into. And so no matter how you identify, it is an option for all of us. You can choose your family.
You can choose your family. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, baby. I'm happy I chose you to be a family member.
Oh, yeah.
You're so cute.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for the name.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome.
I love being a king. I love our little modern family. We have chosen a magnificent group of people up here to just love us no matter what. And there's nothing like it in the world. Yeah. I love my parents. I love my siblings. And the family I've chosen for myself is quite powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do just want to add, both of these callers seem like they've went through big changes. You know, the first caller with the big life change, and then Emmy changing, going from being very religious to doing her own thing. Get it? As you grow and you develop, I want you to know there are so many people out there that are on your path that are meant for you. So hang in there, stay with it. Those that are meant to stay. I've got friends just hung in there like solid, like rock solid, like, okay, here 16 years later, we're two completely different people, yet the love is still there. And those that can't hang with the change, they will fall away. And yes, it will be hard, but there's so much love out there for you still, both of you.
Absolutely. I feel like you shared this with me, that sometimes people come into your life for a reason, a season,
or a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if that was me. That was definitely, that's an old,
Okay.
That's an old thing.
Well, I haven't heard it before. I didn't hear it before.
I heard it from my sister,
Yes.
She heard it from whoever, but
Yes.
it's definitely an old saying.
Yes. So like honoring that some people are in your life for a reason or a season or a lifetime, and we don't know. We just don't know. And you could think somebody was like just a season and they pop back in Act 3, and who knows?
Yeah.
You might have 20 years together in year 3. Like, we just never know.
Yeah.
We just never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. I got surprised by an oldie recently.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I had someone I had a bit of a falling out with while we were going through our growth journey.
Oh, yes.
And this person came back into my life, and we both grew in massive ways to reconnect and with so much love for where we are now. And I'm really grateful for that relationship.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. All things are possible. So we leave you with that. All things are possible.
All things are possible.
We're sending you love. Congrats on all the growth.
Yeah.
And congrats for being more in alignment with your soul's purpose and what lights you up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It sounds
Here
like
for it.
things are popping off in these people's lives. Get it. Celebrate. You celebrate your wins, man. These are all worth celebrating.
Yes. I'm celebrating for you. I don't know if this is a podcast where I'm going to start twerking, but
It's your podcast. You can do what you want.
I know. I just don't want to rearrange the cameras.
Yeah, I know. Plus, our the audio listeners won't get to really enjoy the twerking.
Check out the video, y'all. No.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And on that note, thank you so much, callers. This really meant the world to us to be able to answer your questions. We really appreciate you calling us. If you're interested in being on our show, please leave us a voice memo at
971-895-4111 with your name, your pronouns if that feels good for you, and your question.
Yeah, and we will give it our best.
Yes.
Until then, the secret ingredient, be honest with each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have a wonderful day.
Yeah, or night.
Whenever you were listening to it, have a wonderful experience of the next epoch of time.
Yeah, enjoy your next epoch.
So often I get to use that word. I like to throw it in.
That's right. Until next time.